It started out as an idea, and now 2 weeks in, we're gonna give an update on Make Cool Shit TV.
Okay, I've been working like 3 jobs. Probably why I never see ya. Probably why I never have time for the fake friends. I won't be ya. Been bottom, but it's looking like they took a time out. Okay, I'm working on a Wednesday, then up again the next day. So-and-so is popping, man. I skip him like he leg day.
Winterland, tell me all your secrets.
So Nick and I were talking this morning about what content we're gonna shoot today. And he was like, hey, how about an update on Make Cool Shit TV? Because there's been a lot of activity. So it's been 2 weeks and 1 day, even though Nick didn't like that. It's been 2 weeks and a lot of progress has been made, a lot of activities happened. So I just wanted to walk through that with you guys because there's been a ton of messages that I've received and conversations that have been had. So where we started out was, let's just back up to 2 weeks ago. I had this idea of saying, hey, let's do a show to promote US manufacturing. And since we're in Texas, everybody in Texas loves Texas more than they love the United States sometimes. And so the idea was, let's call it like Made in Texas or Manufacturing in the US Made in Texas edition, because I'm sure I can get a ton of people in Texas locally and a couple hours away that would want to be on this show for free that could promote Texas manufacturing, promote US manufacturing. But that morning after I thought of it, I was just like, it doesn't really seem to have that much of an impact. And then looking around the office and looking at the different stuff we have on the walls and the whiteboards and thinking of ideas, and I saw our hashtag Make Cool Shit, because that's something that we started about 6 months ago, saying that we do marketing for companies that hashtag Make Cool Shit. Maybe you should count, Nick, how many times I say the word shit in this video. Just put like a ding every time for those people that hate it. And so then I was like, that's impactful. And who are we trying to go after? We're trying to promote US manufacturing to the youth because there is that large gap. You know, I'm gonna be turning 37 in a couple of weeks, but up until about 32 to 35, down to 18 and before that in the youth of like 12, there's a big gap there of people that don't really know much about manufacturing, really isn't excited about it. They don't think that it's sexy because it really isn't to the untrained eye. And if you're in manufacturing, you know what I'm talking about. How do you make manufacturing sexy? It's not like a consumer product or software or some type of technology that's trending, that's cool, where everybody wants to jump into. Because if you think back to what is the youth interested in, they're headline readers that say, this person exited this company or created this company and they're a billionaire, or they see stuff on social with Instagram or Facebook, and they see all these people with all this money and flashy stuff, and they think, I want that. And so in order for me to get that, I have to go into that industry. And so that's the trend that's out there that manufacturing is fighting against. But what they don't realize is that they could probably, one, make more money in manufacturing, and two, do cooler things that are in an established industry that you have a much higher likelihood to succeed in versus trying to jump onto the new trend. So how do I reach that audience? And that's where Make Cool Shit TV came to fruition. I said, this is gonna be impactful. Now, a side note of that is that since we started this 2 weeks ago and we started pushing, and I'll tell you how we pushed it out there, there have been so many messages and comments, private messages, and responses to email marketing campaigns that we've done of people saying that that is vulgar language, they won't participate, the brand won't participate, they think that we should change the name, they would participate if we change the name. We're not changing the name because we're not here to appease the company, we're trying to reach the youth, and that's how you do it with marketing things like that. By using something like the word shit, which it's not, in my opinion, a horrible word to say. It's not like you couldn't say that in front of your kids. It's not like the sky would fall if you did say that, but I completely understand for companies that don't want to participate in something that has that name, but stop asking me to change it because it's not gonna happen. If you think about the youth, what is gonna get their attention? Make Cool Stuff TV or Make Cool Shit TV? If they see that, the way that we're doing it, that's gonna draw their attention and get them to actually pay attention to an industry that most likely they think is boring, or stuff that their dad who's old, or their uncle who's old, even at the age of 40, they think that they're old, is involved in. That's just boring stuff. It's not software, it's not tech, it's not gaming, it's not AI, it's not robotics, so therefore it's not cool. So in order to reach that youth and be impactful, that's why we picked that title. And so once we had the title, what's the next thing that I do? like the way that my mindset works is, if we want to push this and do this the right way, we need to get a website eventually up and running. And so since we have the resources to be able to do it, we can do it very quick. But the first thing of starting the website is you have to have the domain. So did a quick search, makecoolshittv.com was available. So I purchased it. It's like $12 on GoDaddy. This was not a large investment. So we own that domain, which means that once we start filming the show and producing it, we can push it out onto that website once we create it. And that's just gonna further solidify and retain taking this more than just, hey, this is a micro series on my YouTube channel, or this is just something that we do to push out on social to get people razzed up. It's a way to secure it to be bigger than what you initially think it would be. I can envision this show being huge just based on the initial response that we've gotten. This could be something that is very big. And so by locking that in, we've got not necessarily the rights to it, but we've got more of a brand awareness and presence around the show. So this is how we've done it over the last 2 weeks. The first thing that I did was I pushed out private messages to my first degree connections on LinkedIn by using automation tools that we have and things like that to initially reach people locally in Austin. So doing a search on LinkedIn through Sales Navigator, I said how many people are in sales and marketing that are in these industries or these niches of manufacturing, and it came back with something like 158 people that have posted on LinkedIn in the last 30 days. Sent out private messages to them first, and then their response was, got a couple people that responded and said, yes, I'm in. A couple people that said, well, I'm not really making anything, or we don't make anything at this location. This is just a sales office. So got that initial feedback, and as soon as 2 people said, hey, this is cool, I'm excited, this is exactly what we need, then I said, all right, we can cast the net further and scale this out. Then we did a search in the specific industries, broader than just in Austin area, which is convenient for us. Then we went out to the entire state of Texas, and that came back maybe 1,000 or 1,200 people that I have first degree connections with. Sent out the blast to them. Then things started flooding in. Because things started flooding in, instead of me just responding to people on a one-off basis, in that message that went out, I set up a Calendly link, and we set up an event so you can book time to talk to me about it. It's a 20-minute time slot. It's 100% free, just to see, all right, if you're serious, you'll book this time to talk with me. Here's my calendar. Pick a slot that works. And then from there, we can see, is this something that you guys want to do? And so in the last 2 weeks, I probably had 8 or 9, maybe 10 conversations with people. And from that, I was like, some good questions came up, which is there going to be an agreement on this? How do we know how you're going to use the content? How do we know? One company said, how do we know that it's free? We're skeptical if this is free. We're skeptical that you're going to say, we're going to come on site for free, shoot the content, and then before we publish it though, you got to give me a few $1,000s for it to use your name. So in order to do that, create an agreement. It was a simple agreement. It's only 2 pages long that basically walks through how are we going to shoot the show, what's going to be involved, and what are we going to do with the content afterwards. It is 100% free to the company. We're basically asking you just for time to have us come on site and do a documentary or an episode about your capabilities, your company, to be on the show. And so then that started. So then as we have in these conversations, people are like, I'm interested, what are the next steps? Bam, here's an agreement, send it over. And so that's typically the way that my mindset works. Is I'm like, an idea is worth nothing unless you execute on it. So had this initial idea and just jump both feet into it and start promoting it and start pushing out there and get the initial things done. And then now that there's some traction, we got to backtrack and say, all right, we need to have these things in place, like an agreement, create that, send that out to people. We didn't have a Calendly event to book time with me, and I'm having to respond to people one-off, which is not efficient or convenient. So back up, do a Calendly link, then send that out. The response has been tremendous, and it's somewhat what I expected, but the size range of companies that want to get involved in this, down to, we had one guy that does venom extraction. I forget what the process is, but basically he takes snakes that have dangerous venom and he extracts the venom from them locally here in Austin, and then that does something for the pharmaceutical industry and creates a powder out of it, and then they use it for some sort of drug. That's cool, all the way from that smaller shop to our biggest right now is about an $90 million a year company that says we want in, and we've got an agreement in place and they've been signed, and they want to know when can we shoot the first episode. So to make this speed up even faster, because people don't want to have costs, now we're like, all right, which clients are we going to in the next 30 to 45 days that are already a client? We're already going there to meet with them about something, whether it's a content shoot, whether it's a meeting in person, whatever it is. Who are we visiting that we then can have them as an episode of the show while we're already on site? So we're putting those things in place. And so this thing has really taken off into, in a short amount of time, 2 weeks, into something that is going faster than I expected, but it's exactly what we had asked for. So the idea is that this is not going to be something that's, just like I told the people on the phone that we had a meeting with, this is not going to be something that is just, we shoot today, it's posted in 2 weeks, and then maybe in 3 weeks or 4 weeks after that, we shoot another episode. We're going to try and get to the point where we're shooting one of these as long as schedules permit. And if we're traveling, we're shooting one of these like once a week. Maybe it's twice a week in the beginning, just to get that content out there, to push it out there, and then get more awareness. Now from that, there could be byproducts where associations or industries or things like that that are trying to do programs with students say, hey, check this out, this is a TV show, you know, a TV show that, check out this show on YouTube where these guys are showing behind the scenes of how things are made. Isn't it so awesome? You know, things like that, and trying to get people excited. This could turn into something even bigger than that. I mean, the possibilities are endless, but you first have to start. So to anybody out there that's trying to create something from scratch, you have an idea, but you have to execute, and you have to do it at speed, and you have to do it as fast as possible, and worry about the details and the perfection later. At the end of the day, this is not something that we're charging people for. It's a free service just to get content for the show, which hopefully will then bring brand awareness to the market of manufacturing, which then gets the youth involved. A byproduct of that is going to be companies that we have as an episode are going to get their own brand awareness out there. They can link back to it on YouTube. They can show, if you go into somebody and say, hey, what is it that you guys do? Or what's the history of your company? Or can I see, you know, you guys are out of state, I can't see your factory. Do you guys have any videos on the factory or things like that? They can say, yeah, we were actually on this TV show called Make Cool Shit. And here's a video link to it. It's 15 minutes, it's 20 minutes, it's 12 minutes of us on the show, where it's basically just you self-promoting and us documenting that and asking strategic questions. That's something great for the people that are gonna be on the show. So where it goes from here, we don't know. We're just working through the process. But if you are interested in being on the show, we'll put links in the description box that'll show the Calendly link. As we keep pushing this out and we get the first episode, we're going to push hard on to LinkedIn. If you guys are watching this on LinkedIn, or we're connected on LinkedIn, or you're following our company, you've probably seen the type of stuff that we've been posting to push this out there. We've been putting it into groups. We've been putting it into normal page updates on the company page, on my profile. I created an article from this. We put it on the website. It's already on YouTube, so we're going to keep pushing this out. And as that first one hits and the first episode drops, we're going to go push very hard so you guys can see it. And then that may spark people that want to be on the show as an episode. Conversation that I had with somebody, I think it was yesterday or the day before that, I think it was yesterday. He said he loves the idea, his managers love the idea, but some of the upper management or some of the veterans out there like the idea, love the idea, don't like the show title, didn't know if their brand wanted to be associated with something that says the word shit in it. And so what I said to him is, that's fine, completely understand. I'm not here to convince you of that. But maybe in 3 months, once we've done 12 episodes or 8 episodes and they can see the companies that are going on board and they can see the format, then they'd be like, all right, we're down with this. Because the response to those people that said, we don't know if this is a good fit for our brand, the response that that guy said was, you say the word shit frequently in the office. So what's the issue? But I get it from a bigger brand standpoint. So if you've got an issue with the show title, completely understand it. Stop sending me messages like we said in one of our other videos about how it's not going to change. I understand if you don't like it. You don't need to keep messaging me saying that it's vulgar language, and whether or not I talk to my kids in front of my kids with saying the word shit. Yes, my kids have heard the word shit before. And so there's been both sides of the fence on that. Some people love it. I think everybody loves the idea. Some people don't like the title. Perfectly fine. We're going to keep pushing forward. As we keep doing these updates, we'll shoot a video on it once we get to like the next milestone, which is going to be you know, maybe we've shot the first episode, here's the update, the website is done, here's the update. We'll keep pushing out content because we want to make this as big of a brand awareness as possible around manufacturing, making things with your hands, not just with computers, but physically making things in the US to promote US manufacturing, to promote the youth getting involved, to promote awareness around the fact that this industry is not going anywhere and it is cool, and that you don't have to work at a software company to be considered working in something that's cool and exciting. So if you guys like the show, if you like this content, if you guys like the idea behind the show, hit that like button. If you want to be on the show, shoot me a private message. Check out the link in the description on YouTube. Leave a message in the comments if you want to be reached out to or talked to about it, and we can set that up. And as always, we will see you on the next one.